one thing motherhood has taught me that I did not expect is that while I maybe imagined my kids are, and they are my responsibility, but my role in how they turn out is maybe not as strong or not as burdensome as I once imagined. And I'll say that from the perspective of I now have twins who are 21 and a son who is 19. And so we are kind of on the other side of the littles, which means that, you know, those small days when you have like a lot of say in their schedule and what they do. And then as they grow, you realize you have a lot less say. And in fact, sometimes the less you say, the better. So I think, you know, I have maybe learned the pain of over functioning as a mom and the relief of letting my kids live their life. I think the younger and the sooner I can allow them to make some of their own little decisions as they grow, the easier it is for everyone when they get to be, you know, those big kids that, you know, are now taller than me. I think that's something that surprised me the most, is kind of how little the outcome is within my grasp. They say there's not a line between the time when you have small kids and the time when your kids grow up. But as I reflect on these 21 years of being a mom so far, it continues, but as I reflect on that, I do find it helpful to point out moments when I could see a little faint line, that little thin place between little kids and big kids. And one of those times was when my twins were in the 5th grade. They had a school dance, and it's at the end of the year. And what I learned very quickly is that parents are not allowed into the school dance, which is basically the cafeteria, construction paper on the windows, and, you know, disco balls and cool music, and only the teachers. And I remember walking the girls to the door, and, you know, this is elementary school, so I'm like, their mom, I'm gonna walk them in, right? I get to the door, and the teacher is standing at the door. Thanks, Mom, we're good. And my twins walked in that little door, and I remember standing there like waiting for what I didn't realize I was waiting for. I was waiting for them to look back. And they did not look back. And that was just the smallest moment when I realized, like, oh, it's beginning. Or maybe we've already passed the actual line. Like maybe they've grown up under my very nose and I haven't really realized this is happening. So that was such a moment for me of realizing, like, yes, what they say is true, that the days can be very, very long, but the years are super short. One of the things that I say often to myself, and one of the phrases that has saved my life, is to just do the next right thing. I didn't come up with it. I didn't trademark it. It's been said by many wise people before me, but it is a phrase that I have kind of built my life around, and for good reason. And part of that is because, let me tell you, when you have 2 human babies at one time, it can get real overwhelming really quickly of knowing, like, what is the next thing to do? How are they trusting me with these 2 humans home from the hospital? It was just an overwhelming time. To this day, I don't fully remember their first year of life. I look back on pictures. I know I was there. I must have been, but there's a lot I don't remember. But I do know that when they finally went off to preschool, those 2 days a week, you know, between 9 and 1, I remember this thinking like, oh, I'm going to get so much done because I'm going to have 4 whole human hours where I don't have tiny people at my feet all the time. And I think I wish someone would have said, like, maybe pick one thing to do, Emily. Like maybe just put one thing on your to-do list for those little hours. Or maybe just take a nap. Like, how about that? I think I wish I would have known then that it was okay if the dishes were dirty all day. That's okay. It's okay if, you know, the laundry sits in the baskets for an extra day. And I was lucky enough to where during those times of preschool, I didn't have to go to work. I could work from home. So I say lucky because there's also complications with that, because you're always at work and you're also never at work. You're always at home and you're never at home. So I think having those, when you do get those little times to yourself, those times when the kids aren't right there, maybe just make a shorter to-do list and just do one next right thing.